turn this trailer into a tiny house. Before it goes up, must come down.
Pull your cart, little boy.
This is a lot of work, but we'll get there.
There's still more water coming out of that thing.
Anyone else gonna go to the bathroom?
You can't afford a nice door.
Oh, yeah?
Cheap ass.
Oh, that's it? Really? That's how we're gonna go with that? By the way, we were gone. When you were gone, I made this. That's my face. Like I put my face on it and I drew a. This is my eyes.
Blah, blah, blah.
That's my nose. This is my nose and that's my chin.
I want to know why you're doing that. Can you explain?
I'm very tired.
Oh, well, I've survived so far. 2 months and a week of almost 24/7 with this guy. You are freaking crazy.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't even think about it! Don't even dream
The
about
walls or the project?
Oh, but the project. The moment you think about doing a tiny home,
Go buy one.
check yourself into a mental institution. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 23 of the TinyWanderland Chronicles. My name is Jay and of course I'm your host. In this episode we'll be going through a lot of things, but before we get started, the very first thing I want to mention is the episodes are going to get a little longer, so please bear with me. A lot took place in this part of the Chronicles, so there's a lot to go over. And I would be remiss to not include some things that are very important. So let's get into episode 23, shall we? I know it looks like I spent a lot of time in bed, and I did rest a lot, but that was mostly by the force of Heather. And so yeah, you'll see me sleeping passed out with a book in my hand or a phone or something, and that's pretty normal. I don't really know what this picture is. I just know that I didn't take it. At least I don't think I did. But it could have been adding some caffeine to a drink or something. I don't know. Here you see the stove and the sink nicely nestled in their home in the cabinet. At Cedar City, we always had the Lord shining down on us. Some beautiful pictures of a rainbow. I believe Heather took these outside of Home Depot. Home Depot was like a second home to us. We did start looking at cabinets later in the build, even though we already did have our cabinets, because we realized we might need another one for extra space. And I'm actually thankful that we did that because it ended up being what we needed. Some more pictures of the sky, pictures of the bathroom setup, plumbing. As you can see, the showers are all going in up, bottom, and top. If you guys think about building a tiny home, I want you to pay real close attention to these next 3 episodes or 4 episodes, because the intensity of what took place, it really can't be described in pictures. You just have to, it looks so easy in photos. It looks like, oh, he just snapped that together. But some of this stuff took days and days of figuring out, understanding, pricing, ordering, gathering the materials, putting everything in. These are some leftovers from Heather's birthday. It's a card I made her. I guess she took some pictures of it. Sometimes I would stand in line for 20-30 minutes and not get any attention at Home Depot, so I would often do some weird things. This is me literally sitting in a shower mock-up trying to get the attention of the customer service clerk. I cannot remember if it worked or not. More pictures of the lair. You're going to see a lot of that in these next few episodes. Many times did we hook up to this trailer. Tyler, the guy that let us use his tools and his storage unit and his generator, told us we could use his trailer, but he pretty much every time he said he was going to bring it up, he never did. So we ended up renting a rental trailer, which wasn't really a big deal. It was like $35 for the day, and we usually took a full load down to the lair when we used it. Tyler did end up letting us use his trailer towards the end of the project, but by then we spent a couple $100 in rental fees. Another thing I wanted to say is that you'll see Heather a lot in the next few episodes working. She wasn't just a pretty blonde by my side. She literally has her hand all over the Tiny Wanderer. Electrical, plumbing, propane, insulation, walls, anything you can think of. Heather did have her hand in it. Now, I did probably 90% of the building, but Heather wasn't exactly qualified to build a tiny home, and neither was I really, but who really ever is? Just an FYI, if you hear clunking and banging and noises in the background in these videos, it's because I'm currently in the Dixie National Forest on vacation, and there's some pretty good wind running through the trees. I'm at about 10,000 feet is where my camp is. So sometimes you'll hear banging, and that's the shower curtain, the homemade shower curtain on the outside with the weights. It's smashing into the side of the trailer, but nothing to worry about. Another thing is that when you buy things, whether it be from Amazon or your neighbor or Walmart, never, ever expect anyone to give you anything close to what they were worth when you resell them. I was trying to sell these. These were part of the original trailer setup. These as well, and these Easy Tracks as well. I ended up giving all of this away free to Tyler when I left. I don't even think he knew he was going to get it, because no matter how much or how low I put it in for sale, people would try to lowball me even lower. To this day, over a year later, the freezer, the cooler that we used in a few episodes back in the Tetons, which was barely even used, is still to this day in my possession, because no one wanted to give a measly $300, $400 for it, and it's a $900 cooler. So people are cheap in this world, and you got to be aware of that. The sheep don't want to part with their money, that's for sure. A book I gave Heather, more views of the trailer, some notches we were cutting out. This is the septic going in from the inside and the outside. Very dirty job, but we got it done. These are actually really good pictures. I want to stop here just for a second. You can really see the work that Robert put in this trailer. You can see the triple beams on the walls. You can see the racks and the cages that he built on the floor. We had to reinforce part of the floor. It was a little soft. There's Heather again working, as I said, not just a pretty face. She was doing something, couldn't tell you what it was, and there it is, the floor. The floor is back in. After all this time, the floor is finally back in. Just more pictures of the trailer up on jacks, the floor being finally put in. There's Heather. You see that LED light that's craned in Heather's neck? I'm not 100% sure, but we think that LED light, which was from Harbor Freight, is actually inside the septic tank to this day. And you're probably going, Jay, how did an LED light get inside of a closed septic tank? Well, you're going to see a picture in a little bit explaining that. This was it was a letter that I wrote to Heather. And because I can't read it because of the way the preview screen works on this program, I'm going to sit here for another 20 or 30 seconds, because there was some very interesting stuff in there that I want you guys to read. Very inspirational stuff that I feel is very helpful for anybody who might be building a tiny home. And again, I cannot promise you that you'll be able to read it in the video, but if you pause the video, you should be able to read it. So, okay, I'm going to move on past that slide now. There's a shot of some of the furring strips going in. The door locks going in, more door locks, more door locks. There's the first shot of our electrical layout. It was crazy, but we got through it. You'll notice two sets of keys in this door lock. One set belongs to Heather, as she is part owner of the Tiny Wanderer, and she possesses that set, and I have a set as well. But now, if you watch TinyWanderland, you'll see an episode where we put in electric pin locks, so those locks don't even get used anymore, but they are there for extra security. Probably me figuring out the start of the walls. There's some walls and insulation, or just walls, me just chilling. This was, I can't remember the guy's name. I wish I could. An older gentleman on YouTube. I came across a video back when we were in Carl's in Prescott Valley, Utah, or Arizona. And he showed a really cool plan. And I kind of just, so what you see here isn't my plan. It was his. I just kind of expanded on that. I will tell you that this was one of the regrets I have for building the Tiny Wanderer. I should never have built this system. It never worked the way it was supposed to. And maybe for him and his lady it worked, but for me in the Tiny Wanderer, it was an absolute nightmare. And I am so sorry that I ever built this system. There's me goofing off. But it took hours, if not days, to assemble this over and over again. There's Heather taking some pictures of me. More pictures of the lair. This is the carpet. Believe it or not, it still stands to this day. It's not attached in these pictures. This is just us laying it out to see how many squares it was actually going to take, because I originally bought, I think it was $3,600 a carpet for $80 in Prescott Valley, Arizona. Ended up giving a lot of it away to Tyler. We threw some of it out. Some of it went in storage as replacements. Some of it to this day is still underneath my feet as we speak. There's Heather expressing herself about how she feels about the project. I felt the same. Back to the floor again. You can see the furring strips are all going in. Measurements of the furring strips. That is the first picture of the electrical. You can see it on the floor, all the lights, the wiring. We were getting very close to electrical. There's some dispute about this photo. Heather says that she arrived at the lair by cab one day because she hadn't heard from me, and that I was literally passed out unconscious under the Tiny Wanderer. I don't know if I was looking at something, measuring something, or if I really was sleeping. There is dispute about that picture. But I was exhausted enough for it to be possible for me to be passed out under the Tiny Wanderer. More electrical layout going in, figuring out the electrical. Here's us starting the electrical grid. Next up was, looks like just more pictures of the Tiny Wanderer. This is me up on top. And Heather was just taking a picture of me working on the roof. And that's going to do it. That's going to do it for episode 23, everybody. In the next coming episodes, we're going to see a lot of things. We're going to see walls, insulation, more cabinets, solar going in. The Tiny Wanderer is going to leave the lair and go to the welder for some more adjustments and and add-ons. And we're going to pretty it by painting it. So, as I always say, I will see you guys in episode 24. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry about that clicking noise. It is a chair that I bought on Amazon that isn't supposed to click, but it wants to click. So anyway, it doesn't bother me. It may not even pick up in the audio, but this has been a long one, and I can't tell you that the ones coming up won't be, but I thank you for coming along on the Chronicles, and we'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget, if you like the Tiny Wanderland, feel free to hit us up on Twitter. No one ever goes there anyway. I think Twitter's a dead network personally, but for all the people who do talk shows or follow people who run their mouth every day, I know that it's still active. But for all the normal people, most of them hang out on Instagram. You can check us out there, Facebook, and of course right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys next time on Tiny Wanderland Chronicles. Bye now.